three-time World Series champion, Cy Young and MVP award winner, six-time All-Star, winner of 209 MLB games, including just an astonishing 143 complete games. Pitcher for the A's, Giants, and Royals in his 17-year career, Vida Blue. Hello, Vida. How are you?
Hello, Mr. Doherty. How are you doing? Can I call you Alex?
Of course, yes. Feel free.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for the kind intro. That's pretty cool stuff.
Well, you've had such an amazing career, and we are so glad at Greg Morris Cards to be able to talk to you. We sell baseball cards. One player that stands out as someone that is very popular in our hobby is yourself, Vida Blue. So you've had a number of cards over the year, and we just wanted to talk to you about that, and also just about your baseball career and how that all got started. So I really, really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today.
All right, appreciate you having me, man. It's no big deal. Let's get it go. Let's get it on.
Okay, all right. So, all right. First, I just kind of want to get a feel for how did you start baseball? How did baseball enter your life, and what was it about baseball that really drew you to the sport?
Well, like most kids, you play sports in the summer leagues and the rec leagues, or in my case, I call it the T-shirt league because we didn't have a sponsor to buy uniforms, so we had T-shirts. And I think I remember that there were no Sharpies at the time. I think I remember taking some shoe polish and putting like number 32 on my uniform. I want to be the great Sandy Koufax,
Ah,
But when you're 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, you just playing. You don't know the good and bad of what's going on in the world and in your life. You just know that, at least for me, I was loved and I lived in a positive environment. And all the kids in the neighborhood, we always got together and played stickball in the streets and dodged cars. And there were a couple of empty lots in my neighborhood where one empty lot we played strictly baseball, and one empty lot we played strictly football. So we had our dual stadiums right there, right at our disposal, and not too far from my mom's house. But I had a couple of cousins that grew up next door to me, and I had the Hudson brothers. There were 7 of them, and they were all within my age range. And it didn't matter. You played with older kids, younger kids, and that's how you, at least for me, I think that's how I learned to get tough and deal with adversity when it comes to playing sports and being one of the underdogs on the field, on the court,
yeah. And then so at some point you sort of transitioned and realized that you were a pretty good pitcher. At what point did that happen where you decided I can throw it better than most of these guys? Let me step on that mound.
Well, it really was a problem because, that one summer how your body goes through the transformation. I just happened to grow a little bit, but I wanted to be Willie Mays. I had another shirt with 24 with shoe polish on it. And I'm like, I want to play center field. And the coach, his name was Ernie Davis. And he was like our summer league coach who, didn't get paid to be out there with us. He just did it for the love of the kids. And he said, come on in, you got to pitch. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Come on. I don't want to pitch. I want to run and catch the ball and run and throw the ball. And that's how my pitching career got started. But once I got to the pros, specifically the major leagues, I found out that the pitching position was the highest paid position. So pitching was not a bad thing once I got to the major leagues. But I really, my sport that I love to the bone is football. And when I transitioned from summer league to high school, my high school didn't even have a baseball. They had a baseball program, and they would cut it out for a couple of years, then they would have it for a couple of years. And at this point in time in my junior, senior year in high school, we didn't have a baseball program. So it was a new football coach that came over from another school, and he was the offensive coordinator, and I played quarterback. So he and I were pretty close. And he asked about, why didn't you guys play baseball? And we said, we play baseball. And he said, you want to start a team? And he started the team. And that was Coach Tony Rhodes was his name. And unfortunately, I just lost him last year. But he was the person that, again, took the time out of his life and and family time to come out and be on the field with us and play baseball. So I owe a lot to him as far as getting me started with baseball, even though he was primarily my football coach, but he's the man that actually steered me into baseball on a competitive level.
That's amazing, and I'm glad to hear such positive influences early on in your life. I mean, it led to such an amazing career. I'm sure he and others have been so grateful for that. That's really awesome to hear. This was in Louisiana. You grew up in Louisiana, correct?
I grew up in beautiful Mansfield, Louisiana, and the home of Vida Blue.
There you go. Do they have a sign? Do they have a sign yet? Do they have a sign that says that, or what?
Well, I think there's a mural on the wall somewhere as you're into the city, but I have two streets named. One street is Vida, another street is Blue, so they kind of intersect each other.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. That's best. That's the best way to do it, right there. So let's fast forward just a little bit. So you make your debut with the A's in 1969, correct?
Yeah, I think I came up from Double-A ball. I was pitching in the Southern League, and I think they brought me up from the September call up in '69. I think it was from Double-A. Yeah.
Okay. So what was that like? Your major league debut? What was going through your head in that moment?
Like most kids, deer in the headlights, and I was out there trying to prove myself, which was the wrong attitude to take. Just go out. Now I know better. Just go out there and do what I can do and be myself and control what I can control. But as you know, when a player's making his, in this case, baseball, his debut, there's a lot of hype surrounding it because they're gonna go through your minor league career with a fine tooth comb and talk about where you are in the prospect table. And I think I was one of the top prospects in the A's farm system at that time. I was taken in the second round in the 68 or 67 draft. I don't remember which one it was, but I think it was against the California Angels, I think, right?
Okay.
All I do know is that it was a historical day because that was the same day that we landed a man on the moon.
Hey, there you go. That's a big moment.
And now I was pitching and against the Angels when they still had Jim Fregosi. I don't know if you remember that name, but it was a call I was hitting. I was at bat, and the umpire called me out, and I had some choice words for him. I got thrown out of the game during my major league debut. And come to find out that the umpire was Jim Kunkel. He was the umpire that I worked in the American League for a long time. I got thrown out of my major league debut.
Wow.
And of course, I think we ended up losing the game, but I got thrown out of the game. And the old adage about, hey rookie, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
I guess that would have applied to me at the time, but
so what were you arguing a ball strike kind of thing, or was it something else?
Yeah, like I was going to break Babe Ruth's record, like I'm some big time hitter, and I thought it was a ball, and I'm cocky kid, and again the deer in the headlights attitude, but Alex, it worked out, for the better, and
Yeah.
I learned my lesson. I became a bench jockey. I would always alter my voice and get all over the umpires on the first pitch. I would sit in the dugout. I've gotten probably 4 or 5 guys thrown out of games because the umpire thought it was them getting on their cases and everything from get a dog, you blind, which game are you watching, and a lot of times I would stand or sit next to Chili Davis or somebody like that and alter my voice. But
Nice.
hey man, I had a great career based on that intro you gave me. I had a great time, and my baseball family is still a big part of my life.
Yeah, I mean, three straight World Series championships. That's amazing. We'll get to that in just a second, actually. But I wanted to go ahead and look at just your rookie card. So you come into the leagues in '69, and you get a rookie card in the release of Topps baseball cards in 1970. So I've got a picture of that here. Here you are, and it's
I made Gene Tenace famous, man.
I was going to ask you.
Gino and I played Double-A and Triple-A ball together. He actually got called up I think again in September of 1970 before I did, because on the catching side of the A's, they had Dave Duncan, and I think they had a guy named Phil Roof. But Gino got called up, and he and I played Double A together. We played Triple A together, and our first full season in the majors was 1971. But yeah, though deer in the headlight, and I'm I'm uh, I'm on this case all the time about sharing my rookie card with him. I could have done that myself, you know. But he's a good
Fantastic.
sport about it. And this is one of the most popular cards that I get in the mail. I do have a little box that I get primarily predominantly baseball cards, and this is one of the cards that I get frequently from all over the country. And a lot of them I get where Gino has signed us, so they're some pretty serious collectors out there trying to get both of our signatures.
Definitely. Yeah, this is I mean, yeah, anytime you get a big player like yourself, and even two like Gene Tenace there, you're definitely going to see this one a lot. And
What does the red dot on that card signifies? Where it's under my name, under blue, it says there's a red dot and it says pitcher. Under tennis, there's a red dot and it says catcher. What's the red dot for? If you
I
can
think that
enlighten
means that you were going to have a red hot career. That's what that
me.
means.
Okay, you're so kind, Alex. Thank you, sir.
I honestly don't know. I think that was probably on all of them. I would imagine, but.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to also talk about this one. So this is the year after that, your second year, 1971. Arguably one of the best single years by any pitcher ever.
Right.
24 wins, including 24 complete games, a
Wow.
1.82 ERA, Cy Young, MVP, 21 years old for Oakland. That was an incredible year, and it also happens to coincide with what I think is probably your most popular card, this 71 Topps, because of
Really? I see the MLB patch underneath that A there. I think that wasn't the 70s. Uh, I'm confusing this patch with a different patch, but I see how somebody printed my name on this card. I'm not sure who did that, but
so yeah,
even if I were to print my name, that's not how I would do it. But I would use it. They did use a capital V, and I always use a capital B when I sign. Like if I were to print my name like that.
that's interesting. So so Topps was known for years for putting signatures of players on their cards. So are you saying that's not your signature right there?
That's not my handwriting. Even from a printing standpoint, I don't print like that.
Interesting. Okay. Well, what?
Yeah, but I get them. I get a lot of those too. That's the second most cards that I get. But as you keep showing them, there's one card that's my favorite card, and once you get that, I'll let you know as to why it's my favorite card of all
Okay.
time that I have.
I do.
It's a me in a Giants uniform with an orange top.
Okay. I don't know if I have that one. Well, I'll see if I can pull it up. But
Okay.
I wanted to ask you. So, what are you demonstrating in this picture? What pitch is that you're
I
demonstrating?
think might have been demonstrating a two seam fastball or a four seam fastball that you would grip with two fingers. Or I'm not sure if I was giving somebody the peace sign or what, because the Vietnam War was still going on in the early '70s. And believe it or not, Alex, I spent 6 years in the Army Reserves working at the Oakland Army base here in the Oakland area. And I worked at Presidio over in San Francisco during my career with Oakland. And I even went to Vietnam with Bob Hope in 1971, which was pretty cool because all those military personnel that we had over in Southeast Asia were my age. I could have been one of those kids, but I got lucky and the team put me in the reserve. So I did 6 years working at the Oakland Army base and Presidio base over in San Francisco. And uh, I'm proud of the fact that I am a military veteran, and war is a terrible thing. But I'm not sure if I was given a peace sign or a two seam fastball, or I was showing the grip on a four seam fastball. But I didn't realize I was smiling that big. But let me interject this too.
Yeah.
A lot of times, well, back in the early part of my career, and Topps was the dominant card force at that time, and they wouldn't tell you what day that the photographer was coming by. Guys want to be groomed, want to be shaved, want to get their hair cut or whatever. So a lot of times the photographer would just show up and say, I've got to get these done today because, they were on a deadline too. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I was appeasing the photographer by saying, all right, take this. This is my best shot. Get it and get the heck out of here. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what was going on. But it's a pleasing picture now that you brought it to my attention that I have this wide smile, and I'd
Right.
rather be smiling than frowning. So there's some where
I
I've
mean,
been making an expression whatsoever, but this is a pretty cool one, and thank you for putting that one up on the screen for me.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, look, I think most baseball collectors, they want to have players that they like, and they want to show, they want to demonstrate, have their collection show players that are having a good time. I mean,
Sure.
I look at that picture and I think this guy's having a great time, and you ended up having just an amazing year that year.
Yes,
So
thank you very much.
yeah, of course. And so let's go to I just want to go to this one next. This is from 72. This is the very next year. And I just want to ask, please tell me that you're not watching a home run go out of the park off.
No, the angle of my head and neck looks like it was a pop up. I was just reacting to the ball being hit in the air. If it was
Okay.
a home run, I would have been drifting toward third base, hoping that it stayed in the park. But no, it wasn't a home run. It was just either pop up or a foul ball, I think, Alex.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad to
Yeah,
hear that.
yeah.
Yeah. So 72, you had two cards in 72. I won't worry about showing the other one. The other one's pretty good, but I just thought I wanted to make sure. I was pretty sure you weren't giving up a home run there, but yeah. So in 73, you have this one. One thing that's interesting about this one is normally baseball cards, you don't see
The batter.
yeah, you don't see another player in front of
Well,
the main player.
I've studied this card. It looks like I'm pitching in Oakland, but you know who I think that hitter is?
Who is that?
There was a batter named Dave Nelson. Used to play for Milwaukee, he played for Cleveland, but he played for the Texas Rangers. It
Okay.
looks like him choking up on the bat. He was a leadoff hitter. I think that's who that is, Dave Nelson.
I was gonna ask. Yeah, I figured you'd probably know who that was. Did you strike him out here, you think?
Yeah, heck yeah, on 3 pitches. Hello, how are you? Goodbye. What the heck, Alex? Come on, you know what I'm going to tell you.
I mean, how many career strikeouts? 2,000, right? It's over 2,000.
2,175, Alex, to be
Wow,
exact, to the nearest strikeout.
you remember them all, I'm sure.
Oh,
That's great.
I did some. I go to my box like once every month, every 3 weeks. So I went yesterday. So I have a bag full of mail that I've got to get out to the post office today, and to honor the kids and fans and collectors that wrote in. And I take, it takes me about 2 hours to go through. I used to read every letter, and I stopped reading those because some of the handwriting is so bad.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of people would type their notes and messages to me now, so it makes it a little easy to read. And some of the kids do write a little legible, and it's nice. Sometimes I keep the letter and sign the letter and just put a little note that says thanks, and put their letter to me that I've signed back to them in the same envelope with the card that they've sent out to me.
That's great. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
not every card, but most cards I do read them, and it depends on what they're saying in the letters. And most fans want to express how adamant they are about you as a player. And the good part also is when I do read them, there's a backstory, and my dad was a big fan. My dad told you were a great player. He's the one that started me with this collection, and adding you to my collection would be a great treat for me because of him starting me out. And this is one of the first cards that he gave me, and would you please sign it and put in a self-addressed return envelope and return it to me. So they're pretty cool.
that's awesome. And so, was that something that happened just throughout your career, or was that after you retired, or was that?
Yeah, after I retired, a lot of
Okay.
fans. Well, every now and then when I was still playing, you get some fan that would come up to the fence there, to the railing, and they would introduce me to Little John and say, "Hey, I got his autograph when I was your age, and now here's the ball that he gave me and asked me to sign it again." I get that every now and then, which is pretty. Sometimes you get emotional with that stuff because you don't know the impact that you're having on a person's life just through the game of baseball, or just through making eye contact, or throwing them a ball as you're leaving the field from batting practice or whatever. And that carries a lot of weight, in my opinion. And I appreciate it now. I appreciate it then, but I have a lot more admiration for what the fans do and what they feel about the players in the game of baseball.
Yeah, and who knows how many future baseball players you inspired. I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah. If not players, how many adamant diehard fans that you create just from the contact that you make with them on a personal basis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's fantastic. Let me get to another card here, if that's all right. Let me find my thing here. I don't know what happened to it. There we go. So I wanted to show this one. This is from '74. Now this one's funny to me because
I'm goofing around again in the Oakland Coliseum. I can tell the Coliseum configuration in the background there.
Okay.
And that's the one where I had my blue mint that I used in the 1971 season. And I gave that mint to a car salesman who gave me a car to use the 71 season in exchange and saying thank you for him being so kind to me for that season. I gave him that blue mint. That is a McGregor mint before the kangaroos became an endangered species. McGregor was one of the companies that I had worked with as far as using their mitts, and they gave me that blue glove. That's when the colored gloves had just come out. And for being Vida Blue, I wanted a blue glove, and they gave me a blue mint.
I was gonna say, I mean, is there any other color that would make sense? No, I mean, blue. It's got.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I have to tell you, Alex, when I'm out signing autographs and they bring out a pen, I'd say, "Do you have a blue one?" And I'm not Vida Black, but I'm Vida Blue. Well, that leads me to tell you this about one. I don't know if you have the black and blue card, the split card. And I was thinking about Bud Black and I were teammates in Kansas City, and we actually took that black and blue card photograph on the dugout steps in the old Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. But I'm going to get the schedule. Excuse me. When he comes to play the Giants, I thought about doing a black and blue revisited, where I have on my Giants top and he has on his Rockies uniform top, and we could do a second version of black and blue.
That's awesome.
You're the first to know that, Alex. I'll let the cat out of the bag. Okay, you got an exclusive.
There we go. That's great, and I love hearing stuff about about players in retirement, especially, but even when they were active, kind of forming friendships or relationships over stuff like that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, man. Like I said, my baseball family is very important to me, and it's nice to pick up the phone and call Billy North up in Seattle and see what he's up to, just to check in with him and see how things are going.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I went and got two cards from your Giants days. I'm not sure if these are the ones you're talking about, but this is from '79. I guess you were an All-Star that year.
Yeah, that's still in Candlestick Park there. That's now been demolished.
Okay. And now, was this? How long had you been with San Francisco by the time maybe this would have?
I got traded to the Giants in '78. I think I made the All-Star team in '78. I was starting pitcher, and that All-Star game was in San Diego at that time. And I remember meeting President Ford was still in office at that time. So yeah, and as you see, I got my mitt from shagging fly balls. Look like I have a batting glove underneath my glove hand, but I know that's my old outfield shagging glove that I use every day prior. It's not my gamer, I know that.
Got it. Yeah, it didn't look like a game glove. It looked a little different. I thought that stood out. Yeah, that's a good observation. So now, were you growing your hair out? Was that kind of a thing, or was that?
No, Alex, I wasn't growing my hair out. I was a growing young man. And I had hair, man. I hadn't got to the point where I was beginning to worry about my career and my hair. My hair didn't turn gray. It just fell out as it was still black, man. It just went away. It says, "See ya."
Well, I mean, because in the early '80s there were a lot. The hair was becoming very.
Guys had the afros going on, and mine's. I had a little fro, as you can see, a little hair sticking out underneath the cap there.
Right.
It went well for me for about 3 years. Then after that it was like I didn't have my hair wasn't long enough for me to comb it over, so I just shaved it off. What the heck?
There you go. So, okay, then there's the other one is this one. This is from 81. Um, anything on this one? Do you remember this particular?
Well, yeah, again, I have that shagging glove again, and I think there's one of those real like uh, situations where the photographer said, "Look, I've got to get this today, and I
Yeah.
need you to pose and get in a position where you're in the set position, getting the signal from the catcher." And I did just had a neutral expression on my face, and I probably said good riddance once the guy took the photograph and walked off the field. But we got it done, and yeah, that's my old shagger. I think I still have that mitt in a ball bag somewhere, and I've shagged a lot of fly balls with that darn thing. It has a lot of miles on it.
That's awesome. Let me ask you one more thing. I hope I'm not taking too much of your time, but I just wanted to talk about real
25
quick.
minutes and 50 seconds to be exact, Alex.
Yeah. um, your three consecutive World Series wins. I mean, there's not a lot of players that can boast that kind of accomplishment. Is there
Sure.
any one of those three, 72, 73, 74, that stand out more to you for any reason?
Well, I think 72 might be the one that gets my kudos because it was our first one, and we beat this great Cincinnati Red machine with Johnny Bench and Pete Rose, Tony Perez, Joe Morgan, Cesar Cedeno, uh, uh, Dave Concepcion,
Hmm.
but they didn't have no pitching, and a great manager like Sparky Anderson was on the team at the time, and they didn't have any pitching, so we matched up pretty good with them. And but the one that really, 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 the first interstate World Series when we played the Dodgers, and once again, the Dodgers had this $1 million infield with Ron Say at third, Bill Russell at short, David Lopes at second, and Steve Garvey at first base. So what happened during that series? They gave us some bulletin board material. That was an article in one of the local papers that said only two players from our '74 team could make it on the Dodgers, and I think they said it was Reggie and Catfish Hunter. So you take offense to that, but it's not fighting words. It's just motivation for you, and the fact that L.A. versus Oakland, a little blue collar town and the glitz and glam of Hollywood, we spanked them, man. But Alex, the problem that I have with my whole baseball career in the world, I never won a World Series game. I'm 0-1 with like 2 no decisions or 3 no decisions. So I don't have a World Series win under my belt, but I have 3 trophies and 3 rings.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that you didn't have an actual win, but I mean, you had so many innings pitched. You struck out batters. I mean, you were as big a part of that as those wins as any other pitcher. I mean, I don't know how many wins did Raleigh Fingers steal from you? Probably several, right?
Yeah, I always tell him that if it was left up to me when they come out to the mound and take me out, they asked me who I wanted to come in. It wouldn't have been him. I tell him that all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he got at least a few of your wins. You can take some of
Yeah, yeah.
his.
His nickname was the Vulture.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right, right. Yeah, I mean, you had an amazing career, and I love that story about the Dodgers and kind of boasting and trying to act like they had you guys destroyed. I mean, it was like
We
4-1.
beat him four. We beat him 4 out of 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like
I think Catfish Hunter won the first game. He beat uh, Messersmith or Don Sutton 2-1 or 3-2, and I pitched the second game, and I think I lost that game 3-2 against Don Sutton or Messersmith. I'm not sure what the rotation was for the Dodgers, and we it was 2-3-2. So we come up to Oakland. We beat them 3 in a row, and we never did look back to go to LA. So see you later, LA.
well, I'm a Braves fan. I'm an Atlanta Braves fan, so
I'm sorry to
I don't
hear
like
that.
LA either. So I feel you there.
Well, you probably don't like them more now because they stole Freddie Freeman, man.
Yeah, you better
Well, they
believe it.
didn't steal him. Well, the frustration with me with that kind of stuff, and it's not my money, Alex. We just talking.
Right, right.
Uh, Come on, the guy is the backbone of your franchise. He's great in the community. Has a unblemished track record of being a great guy. Come on, pay the man. Show some
Yeah.
love and pay the man. But
I would have
Alex, it's not my money, so what can I say?
I would have preferred to keep him, but speaking of the A's, I mean, we got this guy Matt Olson
Yeah,
from
he's not a bad fit either. I
fantastic.
think he should do well. Though hopefully,
Yeah,
doesn't feel the pressure of trying to replace Freddie Freeman and just go there and beat Matt Olson. That I think that's the most important
exactly.
thing that he could do for himself.
One more thing I wanted to ask. Well, actually, if you have just two more things, just real quick. So you have all these complete games. I mean, you pitched in a very different era than pitchers do today. I mean, was it just a matter of you weren't going to come out of the game because you didn't want to? Were they just relying on you so many times? And I mean, how different is it now? I mean, I
A
don't think
little of both, Alex. We didn't know any better. We didn't know to save ourselves to mount up. But you took pride in taking the mound, and I wanted to complete games. I wanted complete games on my record. I wanted to be the sole proprietor of the game, even with the Raleigh Fingers in the bullpen.
Mhm.
And the game was that different. Of course, now it's specialized with the setup guy and the specialist righty lefty guy, and of course you have your closers. But it was a different time then. And of course, the pitchers are signing these enormous contracts for a lot of money, so they're trying to protect their commodity. Also, I do understand that,
Sure.
but some of it is outrageous. And no, we didn't have a pitch count. There was somebody counting pitches, but they didn't think that 100 pitches was that big of a deal for some reason. So you would go back out there, man, and try to give your best. And I just know that I took pride in starting a game and completing a game, man.
Yeah, there you go. And you threw. I mean, of any pitcher in that era, I don't think it would be like you threw so hard. It had to have been surprising whenever you were still in the game, seventh, eighth, ninth inning, and still throwing that hard. I mean, how hard do you think you did throw? I mean, I don't know if they
Oh,
heard the radar
probably
back.
92, 93, 94, Alex.
Okay,
I don't know. It was Alex, my deal about pitching was hard as I could, as long as I could.
yeah,
And that's how I approached it. It's 130 pitches. I'm not through yet, so keep counting.
that's
And
fantastic.
does your counter have a fourth digit on it? So I might get up to 1,000.
Woo, man, yeah, that arm's gonna be hurting at the end of the game. But I really appreciate your time. This has been fantastic.
All right, man. Appreciate you too. Say hello to Mr. Greg Morris for me too. Okay.
I will, and I really appreciate being able to go through and look at some of these cards. Look, our collectors that get their cards through us, they love your cards. I mean, it seems to be you are one of the more popular players from this era, not just because of your success, but because your personality. You sign cards for people, you interact with the fans, and that we love that. I mean, that's a fantastic thing to happen, and on behalf of all baseball fans, we really appreciate it.
Alex, I'm gonna put it to you very simple, okay?
Okay.
I just be Vida Blue.